everyone. Welcome, everyone, to another New Teachings show. I am Andrew Bartzis, the Galactic Historian, with Mike Hare, joined by Dale Tobin, Laura Massey, and Maddie Waller from Two Feathers Medicine. Today we are talking mysteries. Laura, once again, welcome to the show, and what mystery do you have for us?
That would be telling.
She's being secretive and vague.
It's going to remain a mystery. Otherwise, you couldn't call it a mystery if it didn't stay a mystery, could you?
That's right. Maddie, welcome to the show once again. What mysterious words do you have for us?
Oh, I'm not sure I have much mysterious words.
No mysterious words. You're not even being vague. You're just cutting it right off.
Yeah.
And Dale, the master of the Tobins, welcome to the show once again. What mysterious wisdom do you have for us?
The mystery for me is what is under my hat. That is a big mystery today.
What is under your hat?
I do have
microphone.
I do have really bad hair as well.
Hair. Exactly.
That's a big mystery.
I haven't
for me,
had
guys.
a front claw like that in a while. You guys remember the 90s hairdo that women would have, the big claw? That's what I got going now. It's from microphone, headphone hair. Anyways, with that being said, we are talking the mysteries of life today. The first mystery is the greatest mystery of all. Who, what, when, where, and why we were born. That grand mystery passes through religions of all histories, time, spaces, places, and everything else. And right now, let's just talk about how consciousness perceives the mystery of life. Laura, Dale, Maddie, as you guys were growing into all the different unique teachings that were out there, how did the great mystery present itself to you?
So for my own process on the great mystery, it was about accepting that I can't understand it all. And at parts of my journey at the start, I wanted to know it all, and I thought I could know it all. And it was kind of that death, rebirth process of going through the cycle of life and death, and to the point where I had to just accept the universe for what it is and the great mysteries which presented themselves. Like today here, me being and being part of this show, a year ago, 2 years ago, I never would have thought I would be here. And great mysteries revealed itself, and here I am today. So once that faith was connected with me, where I started to trust myself, it was this knowingness of the great mystery and being able to allow it to play out in its natural form without me trying to control it. So I've had many, many lessons of the great mystery, and here we are today. What a mystery.
And the mysteriousness that the Gaia TV special that I did back in July last year has made its way to the public. All those that are fresh listening to the show that caught me on the Gaia TV, welcome to the show. This is our Thursday New Teachings show. So, Maddie Waller, Mystery Man of Magic. How did the mystery help you expand and explore your consciousness?
Well, for me, it happened very quickly. It just seemed that just with a bit of focus at the right point in my life, all of the mystical connections just opened up. And it was almost a point where at the beginning, I had all the gifts. And it was like, well, what do I do with it? And of course, for me, it was mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake, going into ego. Like, as Dale said, thinking that I knew everything. And the more I tried to control it, the more I tried to guide a narrative, the more I tried to understand everything that was happening, the less I really understood. And it wasn't until I began to truly practice my ceremony, my ritual, my meditation, and really dedicate myself to it, that I went through the process of being ingenuine, to learning my responsibility, to then actually bearing fruit. And once I just released myself to the process, obviously with the plan, it's not chaos, then new things open up. And the journey has been so much more than I expected or predicted it to be in the beginning. And what I thought was possible compared to the life that I live now, I just couldn't have perceived it at that time. So for me, it's been a case of action and morality and learning a moral code and just sticking by that and doing the teachings and doing the ceremonies, and then the mystery unfolds. And most of it you can't really share. You're muted, Andrew.
Because it's a mystery. You cannot share it because it is a mystery to even you at that moment.
Yeah.
We
It
want to
sounds so
say
vague.
we want to say welcome to all the people that are watching on Rumble, all the people that are watching on YouTube, and all those new folks that have come to visit us from the Gaia TV show. Laura, the Queen of Mystery Massey, how did the mystery influence you in your early growths and stages?
It seemed right from when I was very young. I've always known it was there, but of course you don't know what to call it because it is a mystery. But I've always felt the internal eternalness of great mystery, the fact it surrounds all of us and is within us. So whether you call it great mystery or great spirit, I've always felt of its sacred existence, but I didn't have the words for it until I started doing your teachings and reading some of the Native American teachings, and then that really started to help me understand that, as you've always said, great mystery will never be solved, but also the need not to solve it, the need not to have all the answers, but just to know it's almost like a comfort blanket as well for me, especially growing up. And sometimes I might call it the universe, but I've always had this great trust in it, in whatever it is, whatever you want, whatever it is for you. For me, it's a trusting. It's a teacher. It's like a celestial teacher too. It's for me, it's past, present, and future combined. It's the all of everything. It's helped me be who I am because I feel it works through me and with me. So, just like the universe. So it's like a partner in life, and a partner to manifest my life with, and to manifest my way forward. And it's helped me with it is part of organic natural evolution. And the biggest thing I think it's been and is an anchor for me. It's an anchor for my beliefs. It's an anchor for the love that I feel flowing through me.
Well said. Now, the great mystery, it dances in and out of everyone's perceptions in the layered uniworlds that we live in. Inside the great mystery lives the great spirit. The great spirit can be God, Buddha, whatever you want to call it. God is not one human's definition. God is all sentience definition, equally created. The great spirit, great mystery, they are the uniworlds. The great mystery created the great spirit to bring light to all the places that had not had light. We are beings of light, following the great mystery's plan to go where their light has not been. We live in an ever-expanding galaxy, in an ever-expanding universe, in an ever-expanding process in which Great Spirit guides us, works within us and through us, through synchronicities. This is the universal way. As we begin to grow in the universal way, and our human lessons, day-to-day life, how the global narrative interacts with us, we come back to natural living. Great mystery asks us to be a part of the natural world. Great Spirit is the natural world. Great Spirit and Great Mystery together are the natural world asking us to come home, to be here, one with this planet Earth, one with our brothers and sisters on the path of equal co-creation and non-competition. The Great Spirit and the Great Mystery are not the duality. They are the singularity. So Dale, let's talk about living as a duality versus a singularity, and how you had to grow, learning you are both.
So my process of, say, the singularity life, where I just thought before my own journey of awakening in 2012, it was just basically I was living life to life, day to day, working a job, not really having much fun, not really knowing where I was going. And it got to the point in 2013, I was able to start working on my own personal traumas, go for my own darkness, so to say, and to be able to work on those traumas to bring a kind of a duality environment to me, where I was able to have the unseen and seen world not in competition with each other. And through my own work, through my own experiences as well, having them not compete, being in the unseen world and the seen world together and seeing them overlaid, and knowing that I'm a being, I'm not singularity, I'm duality, and I'm always source connected. So for me, my own journey would be doing the ceremonial time, lighting the fires, doing the work I've done in the past, has helped me kind of dance between both worlds and really have them kind of like the great spirit and great mystery within me, working not in competition but together.
Unmute. Here we go. And Maddie, how has the Great Spirit and Great Mystery taught you of singularity and duality? And what are some of the lessons you'd like to help other people as they're trying to learn the difference between the singularity and duality?
Well, you mentioned natural living, and there is a process of being in tune with nature itself. That is a process that can bring you into balance. And for me, that was one of the first ways that I learned a rhythm. And so everything I did was timed by the seasons in a sort of 3-month cycle, and then the equinoxes and the solstices, and I lived a very natural life, and I've been very much involved in the outdoors and growing my own food and doing all that kind of stuff. But so I learned that rhythm, and it came into my life, and it meant so much more to me than just existing within the system itself. But then there was a greater process, which was the ebbs and flows and rhythms of my own self. And once I stepped outside of focusing constantly on the rhythms of the earth and nature, and just looked at my own life and went deep into my shadow, which I don't advise many people to do, but it's just what arose, and to those deeper parts of myself that needed to be healed, I noticed a greater rhythm. And this rhythm isn't stable. It's dependent upon your choices and how you act, and whether you're learning the lessons that are presented. And I noticed that once we begin to make the greater changes, then life kind of morphs around you. It's like when you talk about timeline, moving through timelines and different dimensions, it's like that's where I begin to experience the timelessness and the singularity, where you can see a purpose and a plan at a greater scale in your own life through the lessons that you learn and the changes that you make.
Well put. Laura, how has the singularity and the duality of living affected you and your journey into the shamanic path?
Well, I found that once you do the work, the great work, your great work, to claim your sovereignty, and you start releasing yourself from the false light hologram, and you work in this natural, or you allow natural organic evolution without trying to push the river, without trying too hard to do anything, but just try and get in the flow, much as both Matty and Dale have said, to get in the flow of Great Spirit and Great Mystery, in the flow of dream time, and align yourself with Mother Earth, whether that's through ceremony or walking in nature. Whichever way it is, remembering you are a being of Earth. So once I started to, and it's not an overnight thing either, I should say. This is something that's a gradual unfolding for me from doing my great work over many years. So it's doing the ceremony, as I think Dale was saying, doing the daily practice, and realizing that you can make choices for yourself to align with natural evolution to align with the earth, so that you can unfold naturally. And then you see all the things that walking between the worlds, or walking between two worlds, as a singularity brings you. You see the synchronicities that Great Mystery, Great Spirit put in front of you. You see the way that your life unfolds and works for your benefit, and to allow you to start regaining or remembering that you're also a celestial medium, remembering things like the dragons, learning about the dragons, anything like that. It's just a gradual development that you realize that everything, Great Mystery, Great Spirit, wrapping itself around you, and you working with that and interacting with that, is how you walk between the worlds, and is how you develop the singularity. And through dream time too, that's another big one, when dreams overlap with your day-to-day life. You know, you might have a dream, and you might think something, and then a few nights later it happens, or you have a dream and then it works out the next day exactly like that. That's, you know, the dream time is a really big one, I think, in this singularity, because it is all a dream time anyway. And you start to realize that. Deja vu moments as well.
We are both dreaming at the same time. I am dreaming all of you, you are dreaming all of me, and Earth is dreaming all of us at the same time. We are a dreaming community without frames of time. The singularity and the duality, the fine line of separation, is time. We go from third dimension to fourth dimension. Fourth dimension has no time. Imagine if you were a non-time awareness being. No day, no night. Even though day and night can happen, they're not marker points in time. When we begin to detoxify ourselves from human Roman numeral time, we allow ourselves to have experiences with the fourth dimension. Here is where our daily practice or other spiritual practices like meditation can show us how fast we can really move in a moment, how powerful we really are, how that sense of timelessness can empower us to be a singularity operating as the duality. The greatest gift somebody can do on their own journey is allow themselves to both be the singularity and the duality without competition between the two sides. There's where you'll reach the highest form of personal evolution and spiritual awareness, where they don't compete with each other. They co-create with each other. They syncopate with each other as different synchronicities align and awareness is expanded. We live at a time where the fifth world of peace is coming. It is both here and not here. It is waiting for those to feel it emotionally, empathically, and to know that it has never left us. The fifth world of peace is a powerful place. I'm going to give you an example of fifth world of peace energy. I, in this ever-present co-creative moment of the now, connect my signature frequency of being with all aspects of myself in non-hierarchical order, so I may deconstruct the reality around me and create it once more without the global infrastructure of distraction and instant gratification guiding me into false sacred moments. O Great Spirit, who gives life to all that is, was, and ever will be, I call to you in this sacred moment of infinite interconnectedness. Life is a series of interconnected moment-to-moment experiences, blending with the I Am's awareness of time, space, emotions, creating motions experience through the red road of time. I call to the eastern doorway of perception, the ancestors who sit within the galactic and universal suns. Come with your clarity and illumination of the eighth color of time. I activate my cranial sacral pulse with the highest frequency of sun energies, so I may know the heartbeat that Earth Mother feels in the womb of the universe. I am a fetus in the universal womb, dreaming this dream in perfect clarity. I call to the southern doorway of perception, the ancestors who teach us how to keep our internal waters in balance, to learn to connect back to our sacred waters that surround us as a fetus in our mother's womb. In our density manifest, our pericardium is our eternal waters of life. I, in this ever-present connected I am self moment, clear my sacred waters of life through all dimensions, time streams, galaxies, and universes. I call to the western doorway of dreamtime perception. I call to the 7 future generations of myself, my clan, my nation, and my Earth Mother. Come hold sacred space with my self-reflection of who I am, what I am, and how I dream this dream. Me dreaming you, and you dreaming me. The Earth Mother dreaming all of us in communion and union with Source incarnate, dreaming now. I call to the northern doorway of ancestral Blue Road relations, those that have taught us and continue to teach us what equal co-creation from heart space means in living every moment to moment with all sentient kind, sharing the common moral code of do no harm to any creature kind. Expanding my awareness of the northern doorway, I go deep into the Blue Road ancestral councils. I manifest my I am dreaming self in union and communion with the Blue Road Elder of Ancestors. I pass the Blue Road communal talking stick to the Chief Elder of the North. Ho, Red Road Walkers, I say these words unto you. The generations of the past reach out to you in the unseed world no longer. We share your sovereign reality of do no harm to any sentient kind. We share our story with you. We share our teachings with you, so the future generations may exist. You are our living hope of continued service to all soul family lineages, evolving the 5th world of peace, manifested in Earth's space of spaces. I pick up the talking stick and acknowledge the rites of passage. With heart-spaced knowingness, I make this statement to all ancestors, past, present, and future. We, the generations of now, bear the responsibility of acting in the now. With this knowledge, I tell the tales of ancestors, past, present, and future. I choose to be the eternal storyteller in service to the 5th world of peace. I honor the passing of the torch of blue to red, accepting my place in the natural world as a living, breathing manifestation of non-duality, non-separation dreaming, I am being, making ancient future now real. I connect the eastern and western doorways of perception with my I am presence. I unify my knowingness expressions with the northern and southern doorways of perception. I activate my DNA super technology of communion and union with Source incarnate now. I am now in eternal communal oneness with the north, south, east, and western doorways of perception. I call upon all prayers I have ever created in this I am lifetime to become manifest with this ever-evolving will to pray and connect with Earth Mother and our 5th world of peace. Today is the day I make eternal sacred in my hall of Akashic records. This is my day of eternal victory. I summon all victories of this I am lifetime and all other I am lifetimes this soul has been since the dawn of Blue Road no time. I construct my eternal hall of personal victories, so all I am selves may experience the victories of life. Bless me as I walk this sacred soil. Bless me as I breathe your sacred air. Bless me as I warm myself with sacred fire. Bless me with your sacred waters of life. Bless me as I learn to walk with personal power. Today I travel the great unknown. Grant me the wisdom to be humble. Grant me the wisdom to love, even when love is not returned. Grant me the knowledge to balance my way of being, so I may heal my family, my tribe, my nation, and our other Mother Earth. Today I am in service to the fifth world of peace. The fifth world of peace was created for us by the Great Spirit and the Great Mystery as a part of a grand resolution of karma millions and millions of years in the making. It is asking us to step up and to not be duality stuck in mediocrity anymore. So Laura, Dale, Maddie, what does prayer mean to the Great Mystery?
Prayer is the language of the Great Mystery, because it's where you express the singularity. It's where it is. It's one of the places where it is, because at any given moment you can enter into that state. You can be universal. You can be speaking directly to the universe, and it can be a thought. It can happen in a moment, but it's powerful because you know that power, you know that language, and through your prayer process you learn that greater language, and it's almost just like flicking on a switch.
And prayer
Yeah.
can mean everything and nothing at the same time, and being able to go into that prayer process to help us going through our own times of polarity or darkness. Prayer has helped me in so many different ways to express myself in so many forms, and being able to say prayer into a flow where I'm not bound by expectation or judgments of myself. So for my journey with prayer and the connection to Great Mystery, it was about allowing myself to trust myself enough to go into the mystery prayer, be it going to that state of Dharma, being able to just go into a flow without expectations, without a kind of, I'd say there is point of the prayer, but I love going into that space of no time and seeing where it takes us, and being able to pray, say, for 20, 30 minutes of just going into that sacred flow and allowing it to get me out of something I needed it to get me out of.
Yes.
There's many different ways I pray. I pray for when I'm sad. I pray for when I'm happy. I pray for the Earth Mother. I pray for my family and friends. So there's so many different forms of prayer I use myself. There are times where I'll say prayer and I'll burst out in tears because I needed to go through that experience and process and going to that kind of great mystery essence of being that singularity, being connected to source at all times, and allowing Great Spirit and Great Mystery to work through me, without competition, and not allowing this here to be part of the process when I'm going into that prayer. So for me, prayer and Great Mystery go hand in hand, and it's something I recommend for everyone to evolve themselves by listening to yourself, writing down prayers, doing prayers, and see if you can go into just a flow where you're using your own inner genius, your own knowingness, and being able to understand that we're all connected to source. We all have the tools and techniques to be able to do this. It's just a matter of trusting ourselves.
Well said.
So for me,
Well done.
prayer is how I express myself to Great Mystery and Great Spirit or the universe. And I often speak about making my life a living prayer, because I see my prayers in many forms, and I try and make many moments in my day sacred moments, whether it's eating or brushing my teeth, or full on speaking to the universe, or dancing is another form of prayer. So I think when I decided to step up and take that torch of eldership, like we all have here and many others have, that changed the form of my prayer too. And I realised I could be more expressive in my prayer, and that it would be in many different ways. And it's a beautiful exchange, and not just one way, but to create a life that is in honour of Great Mystery and Great Spirit, but also one that serves, for me, serves the fifth world of peace. And I decided a while ago that that's what I was going to step up to do, and that was what I was going to integrate into my everyday life. And I do that reasonably seamlessly now, and that's what brings my life such joy.
Excuse me a second there. Well said, all of you. Each of you are a master in your own singularity and duality. Today I would like to impart to the audience the importance of the fifth world of peace and how becoming the singularity and duality just for you and no one else. We often run into, we want to give away our wisdom to others. Others must earn wisdom. You cannot learn wisdom through the regurgitation of others' teachings. You must learn and relearn, earn and relearn what it is just for you. So today's stream of energy from all of us is to empower you to have a moment where you can be the singularity and duality just for you, not in competition with anybody else or yourself. So Dale, how has internal competition derailed yourself in your journey of spirit?
So I'd say when I first started my journey, competition was part of my process, where even if it was, say, the spiritual community or online, so on, and it was a process of mine maybe about 9 years ago. I was always in competition with myself as well, with sometimes others, until it got to the point, and listening to your teachings where you were talking about how we have to learn non-competition, non-hierarchical order. And it took me a long time to earn that. It wasn't just a process of me switching it off overnight and going from feeling like this to not being in competition. It was like what Andrew said, I had to learn it through all the effort, all the hours I've put into myself of prayer, of my own subconscious programming, of how I see things. And throughout my own journey of it, it's allowing everyone to be great and having friends around you who want you to succeed, who want you to do well and lift you up. And I was hanging around with people who were in competition with each other. I was in competition with them until I had to go through that rites of passage on my own and do that inner work within myself and go to all of those dark parts of me which wanted, I'd say, they were in obsession state. So my own processing of competition, I've had to, like you say, earn the rights to be that non-competition, non-hierarchical order being, but seeing competition now and then, sports or something like that, as fun, but knowing for myself not to be in competition with who I am as well. And a great thing to add to this was my own process of psychic surgery. So mainly I had face-to-face clients at the start of my journey. Then all of a sudden COVID came and I had to do the online clients, and I did have competition with the online and face-to-face. I always thought the face-to-face was better than that, and they were always competing against each other. And over the last 3 years, I've had that many online sessions, and I've stopped competing between the online and the face-to-face. And that's when I felt like my rites of passage came to my next level of knowingness about psychic surgery, that I'm not competing against the world of spirit. I'm not competing against me or anybody else. I'm just in this full trust with myself. And my sessions have completely changed over the last few years because of that, because I've dropped that competition where I'm trying to be in competition or expectation. I'm just allowing myself to be comfortable with who I am and what everyone else is. So I've gone through my own process of it, and I highly recommend for people, if you do have that feeling of charge with yourself or competition with others, it's just inner work to do. Don't bring yourself down for it. Be responsible for it. And like I have, I think that's probably the best way I could describe my own process with it, Andrew.
Yes, absolutely. So, Maddie, what does it work for you?
So, like Dale, in the beginning, I was very much a competition person. It was very much my motivation, actually. So I can say that really competition is a teacher. And at the beginning of my journey, competition was in everything. I was competing against everyone and everything. And there's a big difference between knowing the teachings and actually practicing the teachings. Because as you say, as a regurgitating teacher, because I was so guilty of that, it was all competition. So it was taking the highest frequency teachings I'd learned and then using them as a self-defeating habit pattern. And it wasn't until I actually began to really practice the teachings that competition began to expose itself for what it is. It began to guide me through the different stages of my own evolution in a negative way and a positive way. So competition for me, once I began to really work through the competition that I have with external sources, the world around me, the people around me, then I could really truly see how I was competing with myself. And it's not so subtle. But then gradually over the years, as I've worked on those obvious parts, much more subtleness, much more subtle competition is coming through. And I understand that the moments in my life that may feel dark, that may feel desperate, the uncomfortable times and the mistakes that I make always lead me to a greater wisdom and a greater journey. And they always, show me what my path is and how I can improve myself. And so it's that release, a release into the journey where I have faith in the moments and I don't beat myself up when I get it wrong. And that faith, that belief, and that just flow, that natural flow is non-competition. And I can see that I'm still, way on my journey. Is in no way, shape or form is it complete. But competition can be both positive and negative. And I think that competition for me has been one of my greatest teachers and continues to be.
And Laura, for you, how has the singularity and duality taught you your personal truths and how others can have their own distorted personal truths?
Absolutely, that you can take on board. And I have had to overcome internal programs which have been trying to hold me back. And these internal programs include a meekness, which means I don't speak my truth, which means I kowtow to others around me and allow their view and their opinions to be greater than my own truth. And it's so important that you hear, your soul hears your own truth from inside you. It's vital. You have to speak your truth to yourself. And that's where the revocations help as well. They really help me overcome some of those internal programs. And whether they are fueled by external sources or not, at the end of the day, they are your responsibility to tame them, to overcome them, so that you can start having your voice heard yourself. And it's just so important that you do that work to take competition out of those programs inside you that are stopping you moving forward and carrying that torch of eldership, carrying that torch of peace. Sometimes the battles are as much with yourself internally as they are with external sources, if not more, because really on the self-mastery journey you are focusing on you. It's not really about what others do. It's how you are taking on those projections. And then you have to say to yourself, how sovereign am I being? Am I practicing the self-mastery teachings that I've learned so that I can step forward and do my great work without letting others put anything upon you at all? And that's keeping in that sacred neutrality as well. And that's something I try and practice. I question myself every day in my responses to things. Am I staying sacred neutral? Whatever's thrown at you, are you staying sacred neutral? And yes, most of the time, I think when I need to, I can stay sacred neutral. And that just propels me on my journey.
And that journey is yours, and not for others to steer your journey away to their journey. And unfortunately, the narcissists in this world are constantly trying to steal the journeys of others. They're trying to steal your journey and make it theirs, make your victories theirs. And then there are not the narcissists, but those that are done by vanity or pride, or the pure martyrs, or the doomers and gloomers. We must shed off their low-frequency mediocrity with such a force to be us now without anything else. Okay? I'm going to read another document called The Heart of Great Mystery. This is the revocations of could've, should've, and would've. I want you all to just take a moment to hear the frequency that I am transmitting to you, so that it may make a difference to you. I have given our producer a link that he can post into the chat room that everyone can go to the Google Documents and you'll be able to download this document. It's our gift to you today. Just prepare yourself. 1 second, I'm on 2 things at once. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Haha. The Heart of Great Mystery. Should'ves, would'ves, and could'ves revocation. I, in this ever-present moment of now, choose to make this moment of moments sacred. This is my ceremony expression in each direction. I ignite with love, setting out the 6 red stones, 6 black stones, 1 white stone, 1 yellow stone. I place the 13 moonstones at the center heart stone to complete my multi-dimensional medicine wheel of life. I stand as 100% sovereign heart-based divine, masculine and feminine, in front of the Heart of Great Mystery, where I have erected my ever-present multi-layered dimensional medicine wheel. To the east I say, ancestors of the eastern doorway, I ask from my heart to open and share the energies of illumination, wisdom, and clarity with me in this sacred ceremony, so my sacred energies and thought constructs are illuminated with the galactic central sun, audited with wisdom and clarity, balancing my eternal male and female energies. To the south I say, ancestors of the southern gateway, dreamers of the southern skies, I call to you to come, open, and share the energies gently with grace. Teach me how to love all of myself, my body without judgment. Show me what heart space trust is, so that I may emanate true divine masculine and feminine from the dreaming mind of the heart of Earth Mother to make it real light manifestation in this ever-present moment of now. Facing the west, I say, come, ancestors of the western doorway of perception, the holders of sacred medicines, please join me and open the energies of non-competition, non-hierarchical order, multidimensional heart and body strength. Today I sit in the seat of my heart with introspection, retrospection, and allow the introscene as a barometer of essences, of true experiences in the seen and unseen. I hold my head up high to the sky, not out of ego or pride. I hold my head up out of respect to the ancestors, the 7 generations of the past, the present, and the future. To the north doorway, I say, I invite all heart-spaced, and space ancestral elders of elders, teachers of teachers, to be a part of my sacred ceremony of this now moment. Partake with me in the sharing the stories of the essence of what it took and takes to maintain integrity. What it truly means to be the healed healer, teacher, elder, how to walk with joy, be joy while living and breathing in the density where so many choose to walk with pain, sorrow, and hurt. Show me the knowledge packed within my DNA light codexes of the I Am universal fetus, where unconditional harmony and peace manifest. Aid me in actualizing all potentials of heart-spaced healed healers' eldership to be the new dream of unity. This sacred moment of heart-spaced union and communion with my I Am technology as the sacred neutral experiential observer, being my multidimensional apex of third, fourth, and fifth density selves. Today I call upon the medicine spreads of the past, present, and future. All that I have ever used, heard, carried throughout all time streams, dimensions, galaxies, and universe. Now is my time of heart discernment, emptying my sacred bundle. My sacred bundle of accumulated knowledge that was earned as the rites of passage. It begins my commitment to myself, great mystery, and Earth Mother, and all sentient kind, not being a medium to everyone else's recreational education. A sacred bundle is what is carried in the heart as the expression of experiences. The shaman's tools and medicines that hold medicines for finding a way back home to the sacred heart, the nexus point. At this moment, I cancel all contracts of could-haves, should-haves, and would-haves. Any unresolved energies, seen and unseen, past, present, and future, throughout all time streams, galaxies, and universes, that have been a part of my journey in the collection of sacred wisdom, knowingness, and all my medicines, so that the pureness is present without any attachments. This action is the ever-present moment of now. I honor their journeys and have disseminated the sacred experiential of observer. I assemble multi-dimensional bundle of all lifetimes, past, present, and future. I hold this as my sacred cradle board of life creations. It is my sacred point of view within the choices in no time. I am a unified dreamtime being of the now. I understand. With my knowingness, all questions come from within, and all answers are a part of within, the heart of great mystery. The heart we were born with, to explore and expand the Great Spirit's work within great mysteries, ever-evolving dreamweave, interwoven into every aspect and foundational fabric of all expanses of light. This is the heart of great mystery, where my source stream began, its knowingness of light and its ever-evolving mission to understand from the heart the mission of light in all densities, to experience the gift as an experiential teacher of spirit of time. Each world we live in is our celestial teacher. Each helps us assemble the greater bundle of our spirit mission. Each celestial teacher world goes through phases of higher and lower density, with the directed purpose of acting as a nursery for life to grow and evolve with its own sacred space. The celestial nurseries of each world have connections to the great mystery. From the heart of great mystery, new life is thought up in light strand form. It inevitably becomes solid, real, in a density manifest. This density manifest is the us of the now, who bear the responsibility of acting in the now as sovereign light expressions from within beings, choosing our metric of success through our own experiential experience each lifetime to lifetime. I open my heart to Great Spirit to reflect of what it is to be divine masculine and feminine, elder, to see through great mysteries eyes of perception, a perception that is neither male nor female, rather a depth of senses that cannot be defined. I allow myself to sit in union and communion, heart space silence with great mystery's heart, a universal drumbeat in unison. I, in this ever-present moment of now, cancel all contracts, vows, and agreements, backwards and forwards and spherically through all time streams, dimensions, galaxies, and universes, that hinder my exploration of the fullest expression of the great mysteries and great spirit's unconditional love in every moment of moment. I engage my I am technology from the first spark of my creation, void of any delusional programming that there is a separation between me and the great mystery and the great spirit and this I am now. I state that all of the universe, I am a sacred, celestial, divine masculine and divine feminine. I revoke all seen and unseen trauma programming from my sacred waters within my body and my pericardium, given or received by masculine or feminine DNA skin suits, whether projected, felt, experienced with my DNA skin suit, that has kept me from experiencing unconditional love in all its aspects, shapes, and forms within my source signature frequencies. These traumas that left me feeling empty, alone, solid, bruised, used, and abused, that has ever prevented my original source incarnate expression as a sacred, celestial, divine, masculine, and feminine. All of these traumas, spoken, unspoken, are now canceled, cured, and deleted, past, present, and future, throughout all time streams, dimensions, galaxies, and universes. Brought back to the 0 point and the nexus of the divine flowing waters of inspiration, creation, and dreams, in union and communion with great mysteries, infinite expression of love. I trace back to every finite exact moments of past, present, and future choice where I chose to experience the darkest nights of the I Am soul, the moments in which I Am gave its power away bit by bit, experience by experience, to my parasympathetic holding on to judgments, perceptions, and manifested programs. I am programs of I am not worthy of sacred relationships, will never be smart or pretty enough, that there's no one else who could love me, there's no other that will understand me. I have experienced love before that left me, and now I could ever love another again. And at this exact moment, in this ever-present co-creative moment, I summoned the DNA lineage ancestors to create a unified, proper spiritual court of equity so I might find remedy and resolve with all contracts, vows, and agreements, forced and unforced. This I am made through finite choices. I revoke all spiritual, energetic, and perverted contracts, vows, and agreements that created a sense of competition between the sacred masculine and feminine. Expressions that were male species were dealing with the sacred feminine expression. I break all vows, agreements, contracts of domination, controls of false defining and programming of what a grandmother is, what a mother, a daughter, a sister, an aunt, a girlfriend, a husband, a brother, or what a best friend is. So I am love, and all expressions in union and communion cannot define me. You cannot value me, and you do not own me. I am an infinite being with infinite potentials and choices to express my expansion of unconditional love without strings attached. My signature frequency carries the common moral code of do no harm to any sentient kind. I break all contracts, vows, and agreements with the parasympathetic, patterning, systematic systems of how I share, give, and receive love. I no longer emulate the frequency of sacrificing pieces and parts of myself in the name of love in the seen and the unseen world, past, present, and future, throughout all time streams, dimensions, galaxies, and universes. I bring all pieces and parts of myself back to this ever-present moment of now. audited through the galactic central sun and the affectionately welcomed home, no longer using the excuses of past hurts, experiences, good or bad, or lack of strength to validate mediocrity in any way, shape, or form, ever re-entering my DNA light constructs. To be a sacred, celestial, divine, masculine, and feminine is the healed healer. The teacher to teachers means I've earned the rites of passage. I hold heart space and non-competition, non-hierarchical order for those who are ready to hold the mantle of responsibility, of sacred living. Those who have walked the four winds, those that emanate heart discernment truth, those that are in service to the all, no longer holding on to mediocrity for the comforts, and for those who are ready to share the essence of their stories as teachings without projections attached. I emanate joy in all lines of creation for being a sacred, divine, masculine, and feminine, with sacred commitment to my self-nourishment, my self-healing, and maintaining daily sacred living and sacred practice. I choose to upkeep and challenge myself with sacred growth, knowingness, to find answers within, no longer in need of a guru external to myself to run to for instant gratification or validation. The choice is easy. The endurance of change, that will determine your commitment to sacred discipline of accepting and giving in equal co-creation, non-competition, non-hierarchical order. In no time, it only takes choice for dream space to create a direct manifestation. You can remember as dream space real as you awaken from the slumber of domination and control. You build your strength, you build your endurance and strength each breath you take, each sovereign sleep you have, each moment being a match for communion and union consciousness from within. Emanate this. Learn and relearn, not to emulate. Once you understand emanation of the message, your power, position, and understanding of duality reveal to you the next layer of sovereign choice to expand yourself in equal co-creation with organic, natural, co-creative evolution within the heart of great mystery and great spirit. Aho.
Wow.
Process that for a minute. All of you that were out there. A gift to be a part of this world. There is no more could-haves, should-haves, or would-haves. You're here now. Frequency shared in equal co-creation, non-competition. Now what? What do you do with the gift? Dale will reach out to you.
That was incredible, Andrew, and just perspective I got from that, and I felt myself filled with a lot of light as you were talking and going through those many layers, and it felt for my own process to be able to shut down those versions of myself which are on doing other things, and it really brought me back to my center of who I am, what I am, and my capacity to be infinite. It was absolutely incredible. I felt my vaults go up. I felt a lot of high energy coming through as you were speaking the words, and it made me just contemplate how important the faith process is, and to be able to go into those many layers and claim our sovereignty back. And that's how I felt when you were saying that my sovereignty was coming back to me in all parts, universes, galaxies. And incredible, Andrew. Thank you for sharing that. That was beautiful.
Maddie, what about for you?
There was a lot of the teachings condensed into that one statement, a lot of the teachings into that one revocation. But it was asking, now what? And I have to say that for anybody that knows Andrew personally, he's not always the galactic historian. He's just a normal man. And, you know, and we get to see his peaks and his troughs. And tonight, Andrew's putting out a very unique frequency. And when he chooses to do that, that's when you see all three of us just go into the flow, because we're just there and go into his stream and allow him to take us where he wants to take us. Because tonight he's in a very unique frequency. That was beautiful, Andrew. There's a lot there to process. It just felt to me like it was a condensing of the teachings, and it was a real, now what? Move on and create.
Thank you. Laura, what about for you?
Well, as usual, especially you reading it brought me to tears, because I remember when you first read it, I think it might have been on the mentorship, and you'd probably written it a couple of years before that, hadn't you, about 2016. And I've used it as a marker for my learning over the years, and recognised many pieces in it that apply to me. Of course, they probably apply to everybody, but we can all have our own take on it and see our own journeys within this. And the heart of great mystery, it occurred to me tonight, is really where I feel my place is in the zero connection in Earth Mother's womb. Feels like that heart of great mystery, where you are the center of the divine, is my way of looking at it. And there's many lines in there that I've thought of over the years, but one that stands out for me tonight, nudged by what Matty was just saying about you are a normal bloke as well, is the line about going to gurus for instant gratification. Because for years I put you on a pedestal, and you were always saying, I'm not a guru, don't put me on a pedestal. And now I know you as like a really good friend. I realise how damaging actually that is to both parties in the energy exchange, because it's happened to me. And then what happens is somebody who's put me on a pedestal, when you don't live up to their unreasonable expectation of what you should be providing for them, they whip the pedestal away. And if you're sovereign and if you've done the work, then you can handle it, and you realise it's their journey with their learning. But I think, you know, especially somebody like you with all the shows you've done and so on, people do that. And as Matthias said, it's like this. Andrew's done the work over many years. He's applied himself to get where he is now. But it's good just to remember also he is a human being on his own journey. And it's important that we take on the responsibility of doing our own work and not look for those instant gratification answers from him, like I've done and probably sometimes do now. But thank you, Andrew. Yeah, that is one of my absolutely most favourite.
Well, thank you. Great Mystery and Great Spirit are asking each and every one of you today, what can you commit to for the next couple hours that will strengthen your connection to Spirit? Dale, what do you do to strengthen your connection to Spirit?
So for my own strengthening of my connection to Spirit, I have a practice of 6 days a week, round about an hour to 90 minutes a day of working on myself. For me, I have children, so my life at times is stressful. So I have to be responsible for that stress and have time out by myself to really recuperate and rejuvenate and remember who I am, to go into a real still part of my own self and remember that I am connected to everything. So me having a practice through the years has helped me strengthen my own connection to Source, my own singularity, and having that regular fire ceremonies, disconnection process from my clients as well, because I do get connected to my clients and the people I do sessions for. So I have to be even responsible for that as well, and have a regular fire ceremony once a month to declare separation, declare 1 degree of separation from those people. So it's a process for me. And again, the funny thing is the more I'm learning and working with Andrew and doing these shows, it all coming down again to that word, trusting yourself of who the fuck you are, trusting yourself with the ability to do the great work, to go into the unseen world. And from me having that trust in myself, I've learned things I'd never fucking thought were possible. And each time it's different and different. And that's what I've learned. You have to be responsible for your own shit. You have to be responsible for putting in the effort, putting in the time, creating a journal, all of those different things. I've had problems with the past, but I had to go to those areas of traumas where I basically, as I grew up, I saw no one around me who was disciplined in health, disciplined in looking after themselves. It was only really Andrew, the first person I ever witnessed who had a journey, and I was still seeking that instant gratification in 2013 to 2015. And from even speaking to Andrew and trying to get any instant gratification questions out of him, it's impossible. He'll never give you the answer for that. Basically like, nope, fuck off. So from my own journey from it, it's all about doing the inner work and not being a fake it to make it. And those are some harsh words, but I had to tell myself, am I faking it to making it today? Or am I actually doing the work? Am I being on these shows, being responsible for who I am and actually doing the fucking work? And I am, and here we are today. And everyone can do it. Everyone can do it. Not just me, not just Andrew, not just Laura and Matty. Everyone listening can do this. Everyone can have that source connection, even connecting to the Akashic record, speaking to other higher frequencies. Everyone has a birthright to do it. But Andrew's earned it from the hours and hours and decades of ceremonial time, effort, discipline, schedule, and having fucking fun, remembering to have fun. Don't be such a serious. And now when I do my work, it's not a I don't feel bad. It's not a chore. I'm like, fuck yes. It's like my work. Like, it's got to that point where all my work I do on myself, I enjoy. And there's that no like, oh shit in me anymore. So yeah, there we go. That's all I want to say about that.
And having that fun, like if you were ever to see our private WhatsApp chats.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll rip the piss out of Andrew and
Yes.
Matty and Laura. We all do. We all literally roast the shit out of each other all the time.
And it is done with such joy and pleasure. And it's like, who's going to get ripped next week? Who's going to get it this week? It's whoever makes the first mistake.
Yes.
Okay, Maddie, let's move to you. What do you have to add there?
What was the original question?
How do you use sacred prayer to? I'm sorry.
How do you connect to spirit?
How do you connect to spirit, and how has it changed your life through the connection? Sorry.
Okay. So, much like what Dale said and what we've been talking about before, all of the ritual, the ceremony, all of that kind of stuff. And I was very fortunate enough to be able to commit myself to a good few years of regular practice, because I had lots of free time on my hands. And so I found a plethora of different ways to connect to source. But now I find myself in a place where I have to manage my time differently. And there's some times where I don't even actually get time to do the practice that I would consider normal everyday practice, without even, some of the extra gestures. So it's almost like I've had to learn now to condense and to distill my spiritual connection. So I find it in moments, and it's part choice, but also part synchronicity as well. So for me, light language is one of the ways that I achieve it. It's almost instant gratification, but there's times where I'm just on my own and I may just sit at my altar and not really have a purpose or intention to pray, and just sit there, really light the candle and just sit there at the altar, and I can just feel that connection, and then the words begin to flow, especially song. So the answer is, I can find source connection in pretty much everything that I do. It just depends whether I make the choice to, or whether I'm inspired to in the moment, because of the work that I've done previously. Muted.
And Laura, what about for you?
For me, now it comes down to waking up every day and remembering who I am, what I am, and why I dream this dream. Why did I take on that torch of eldership? And to do the living prayer, or be the living prayer, I think about how Great Spirit works through me and with me, and what will Great Spirit do. So as a part of Great Spirit, I like to think I just try and live in joy. I work hard to maintain a sacred neutrality when it's needed. Sometimes polarity is needed, but I do try and find the joy. I do try and, let's say, smile from my heart, even in difficult situations that come up. I try and emanate the unconditional love, and that at times has led me to be a bit of a walkover. But I've worked hard on that so that I can maintain the neutrality, I can maintain the unconditional love, and I can maintain the joy at the same time, walking my walk as a sovereign being. And all the work that the guys have just described, that all becomes part of it. But it's not even work, as Dale said. It's joyful. It's just a joyful way of living. And it's how can I incorporate that every day into everything I do. And I'm not terribly good at meditation. I do try and sit quietly, but I will go and play my flute to the sea. I will take my drum to the top of the hill on a sacred site. I will sing light language. I will go and have my fires. I will reconnect, but it's not even connection, because it's like I want to live that. I want to be that energy, that frequency every day. And it doesn't mean I maintain a high frequency every day. But what it means is, you know what? I live my life in joy. It means that synchronicities happen for me because of my communication. And not just the communication, there's the belief. There's layers and layers of my own work and my own belief behind what I'm doing. And not that it will manifest great things for me, but it will manifest the things I need to, for this soul to evolve. Because this is about a soul's journey. It's not just about my journey this lifetime. It's like where I would like my soul to be in the future. It's about my 7 future generations. It's about my ancestors, honouring them, giving them a place now, giving them relevance now. That's why I'm here. That's what gives me joy to get through every day. That's how Great Spirit walks and talks through me, by bringing my ancestors forward, carrying that in my DNA, shining the light that I can. And loving doing it, enjoying being it, and enjoying sitting here and having this forum and working with 3 of the most wonderful guys I've ever met, and sharing these experiences and having fun, like Matty was saying, one of you was saying in the chat. It's great. I get the mickey taken out of me the whole time.
But she delivers it good too. Don't get us wrong.
Yes, she does.
I do. That gives me joy. And Great Spirit likes a laugh. There's the great cosmic joke in so many things that we miss if we've got our spiritual stick up our backside, as we talk about. It's just finding the joy in everyday living, not at the expense of others, but with others.
Exactly. Not at the expense of others, but with the expression with others.
Yeah.
Well said.
Now we're at a time where we have told you, here you go, now what, several times. What beyond now what will it take for you to get into sacred living? What will it take for you to get out of mediocrity? What will it take for you to get out of the iron grip of mediocrity? Is it instant gratification? Earlier, all 3 of us talked about instant gratification. If I were to instantly gratify everyone that called in, what would be my point of being here? What would be the point of being a teacher? So, Dale, let's talk more about instant gratification.
So instant gratification. So I'm just going to explain my own process with instant gratification as well as I talk about this. So back at the start of my journey, instant gratification was important for me. A validation of where I was from before I was on this planet. A validation that I was someone in service to the Ascension, all of these light working programs I had. And it got to the point where the instant gratification didn't do me any good at all. It felt like a false feeling when I was getting it, like a high, like a drug high. I was always looking for that high all the time of that instant gratification. But then it came to the point where I had to be honest with myself and actually start doing the actual work, doing the great work without wanting instant gratification to be part of the process. Being able to earn the right to be here, being able to earn the right to feel good, feel great. So for my own process of instant gratification, I've always had to view myself and see myself day to day if I'm doing anything looking for that instant gratification. And I had to do the work to do that and looking to, does it really grow my soul? And it didn't. I was always looking for a validation of everything, but I had all the answers within me. Even though I don't know everything, I had all the answers within me already. And that's to be a 7-color human being, to enjoy myself in the 3 dimension, other realms as well, without needing instant gratification as part of my process. And from my own experience of the spiritual community, there's so much instant gratification out there that people will go to different teachers and they'll just be saying the same shit over and over again about Actuarian Pleiades or anything like that. And people are so engraved into that instant gratification feel good of what that sounds like, what that feels like. But instead of being responsible and doing the great work, so instant gratification isn't the nipple anymore. You're able to go into a nice feeling, a nice stream of your own authenticity where you're not, like Andrew's teachings, for instance. I've learned a lot of my linguistics as well are a lot to do with Andrew's teachings as well, but I've made them my own. I've put in the work to do that. I'm not just copying what he says, then passing it on. I'm actually doing the great work myself from my own experience because it has helped me. His teachings and his lessons have brought me out of drug addiction, dark places within myself where I've had to own up and take the torch of eldership forward and pass it on to the next generation. And that's what we're doing now. We're passing on the torch of our own experiences as well. So yeah, I feel that's all I need to say on that. Thank you.
And Maddie, what about for you?
Well, I think that at the beginning of our journeys, the feeling of spirituality, the feeling of self-mastery is a nice feeling. It's a good feeling. And it becomes addictive. And the programs that run us just clutch to that. But instant gratification is like reading the first chapter of a book and then skipping all of it apart from the last chapter and reading the last chapter. You may understand how the story starts and then see the ending, but you have none of the context of the journey. And it wasn't until it was that truth that I realized, until I understood what it truly means to be a spiritual being, what it truly means to be a master, is understanding that you don't have to understand everything. You don't have to ask for the things that you think you need, because the more that I imprint onto my journey, the more I do. I mean, all of us must be guilty in the beginning of doing rituals, ceremonies, and so forth, and asking for a particular outcome, saying, this is what I need in order for my happiness. This is how I want to evolve. And nothing happens. We just repeat. And again, I said this word a few times, the letting go. But it's that faith and that trust in the process where one just lets go and experiences life and allows life to guide you to your greatest outcomes, your greatest victories and your greatest defeats, because they're the things that truly make us grow. And it's in the journey. It's not the beginning. It's not the end. Everything has a start. Everything has a finish. But it's the middle part where you gain the wisdom. And that's where you truly grow. Because if you take an experience and you think you've learned everything from it straight away, you've lost the essence of the experience. It's what follows. And then the culmination of that following and that release is the wisdom that you gain. And the wisdom will then allow you to make greater choices as you move forward, because you have that wisdom, you earned that wisdom. If you just have an experience and then regurgitate it instantly, it's hollow, it's shallow, and you don't truly understand the experience. And so that's what instant gratification means for me. It's a complete limitation and a skewed perspective on what evolution truly is.
For you.
Andrew, there we go.
Oh, and Laura, for you, instant gratification.
Instant gratification stunts your growth. So it stops you from doing the work that you came to do. And whether the work puts you into polarity, whether it takes you through all the ups and downs, they are needed. It's also for me, it was like an ego thing, because it was like a confirmation. I needed confirmation of something, and it was particularly from Andrew in my last 5 years. And it was like, I must know now whether I am right about this. And that's crazy, because you've got to find out yourself. This is part of your journey, to find out whether this works for you. And sometimes, as Andrew is often saying, there is not a cookie cutter answer for you. It's something that you learn, you evolve with, trial and error. You do your work, you do your daily practice, and even then you might not know the answer, which is a bit like great mystery will never be solved. Sometimes there isn't an answer. Sometimes there's an answer that changes with the changing of the frequencies. So instant gratification is something that, in this context, in your own spiritual journey, doesn't help you evolve. It's something that holds you back from doing the work that you came to do, that will help your soul growth.
And in the journey of helping your soul growth, one must learn to ask questions. Now, oftentimes I say there is no stupid question, but sometimes there are ignorant questions. Dale, in the years that you've learned from me, you've heard people ask the "what's my purpose" question, or the other ignorant questions. Would you expand on that for a minute? Knowing how to ask a question that you might have an answer to if you put a little confidence and faith behind yourself.
Well, let's start with the question of who I am. And a lot of people ask this questions of who they are, what they're here to do, what their contracts are in this lifetime. And a lot of those can be answered, again, with the time, the discipline, the effort, and the trust with yourself to be able to figure that out. Like, I even asked that question on my first reading, what I'm here to do. And I was already doing it. I was already doing the energy healing and the energy work. And I asked that question, what am I here to do? And it's about being aware of that. And everyone here is a master. It's just the ability to put the focus and effort and the intention and love and smile into our own journeys to feel that. So for my own personal journey at the start, when I asked that question, I already knew the answer. And I look back at myself and some of the questions I used to ask Andrew, and I'm like, why did I ask that question? Like, did that really want to grow me and make my soul advance? It didn't. It was just instant gratification. So listening to Adventures into Reality as well, over the long period of years, there are a lot of questions and which are the same all the time. And it got to the point throughout the whole years of doing them that it was just the same thing over and over of people asking those same questions. But if you want to look into it, look at Andrew's other teachings as well and what he talks about, true authenticity, ceremonial time, all of that stuff, the revocations, invocations, what they actually do for you. They bring you out of that instant gratification and asking those silly questions to realize that you can answer those. You can answer what star system you're from. You can answer your galactic history. You can read the direction from the east, south, west, above and below. It's all just that layer of trust with ourselves and not allowing us to put Andrew on a pedestal, but just seeing him for the great master he is and being able to learn from his own process as well. So, yeah.
And the big picture, ask Andrew, What if asking a question brings out a feeling of self-pity? Does that mean we are not ready to ask the question? Ask yourself that. Why do I pity? Why would you pity for asking a question? Ignorance and blissfully ignorant states of being can drive us into asking many forms of ignorant-based questions. When we don't know something, admit it. You are on the edge of your unknowingness. And that's someplace you have to learn to deal with. The whole point of spirituality is, how do we deal with that edge of unknowingness? So, Maddie, I'm going to bring back to you the questions, just like I asked Dale.
So, it's quite frustrating to listen, to be a long-term listener of Andrew, because everything that you need to progress, he's already given you those tools. When somebody comes on and they start asking about other versions of themselves or other people, not to say that some people have other people in their lives that they want to ask a question for, and that's okay, but it's anything other than yourself. Now, Andrew doesn't just give readings. He's already given all of these teachings out. And if anybody's thinking about having a session with Andrew, then you should definitely practice first, because you'll get more out of your session. Do the heart meditation, do the rituals, do the ceremonies. And then what starts to happen is a journey unfolds. And what Andrew will always do is he will guide you, the person that you are now, into the greatest choices that you can make for yourself without giving you the answers. And then the other stuff comes to you. The other stuff will evolve. It will be a part of your sacred journey. But the thing is that you'll realize that a lot of the things that people think they want to know that are spiritual, they don't actually need to know. And you find that information, and then it's, well, now what? Well, it hasn't changed my journey as an I am being living this dream. It hasn't evolved me in any way, shape, or form. It's just something new that I know. And so really, again, we go back to ritual, ceremony, meditation, self-mastery, discipline. Do these things, and then you will get the questions that you want, or the questions that you need in order to progress.
Well put, Maddie. Bring the same question to you, Laura.
Well, ignorant questions are really a bit like instant gratification questions. There's a strong degree of laziness in it. And I know that myself because I've asked ignorant questions too, just through the instant gratification need and wanting to know, but also through the lack of internal discipline to get down and do the work and do the daily practice that will reveal the answers for you eventually if you keep doing your daily practices and your daily work. So it's very much the same as both these guys have said. It's difficult to add much more to it other than my perspective of it's an easy way out. And it's not wanting to do the hard work, to do any investigation, to do any self-investigation, and to look at your own self-mastery journey.
Well said. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is commitment, courage, and discipline. None of those are mystical. But when you practice them long enough, hard enough, and be true to yourself with them, they open you up to the mystical. Dale, let's talk about commitment, courage, and discipline, and how hard it was in the beginning and how easy it is to stick with it now.
So there was always a point in my start of the journey where I'd do the spiritual practice, then maybe 3 years in I'd stop for a few months, then I'd start again for another 3 years and stop. And for me, learning about what obsession was, learning about, again, having that balance of doing the practice but not being obsessed with the journey. And one of the greatest tools I can advise for people is to be able to have times where you switch off from spirituality altogether, because that time of switching off from spirituality gives you that groundedness of being a human. And when I remember one session Andrew said that to me, and I was doing 7 days a fucking week of spiritual work, doing ceremonies after ceremonies, this and that. And he said that to me, and I went, what the fuck have I been doing? Like, it was the Grandmaster of the obvious said said that to me, and I was just like, it's so fucking obviously in front of me. And from my own, so from my clients and doing teaching psychic surgery and stuff like that, majority of the people do 7-day-a-week practices, and they don't have any time off from spirituality at all. So from my own growing of that commitment and courage was to do it with joy, happiness, but remembering to switch off, remembering to take time off. And for me, I feel that a lot of my old programming, this is why hypnotherapy is great for people who have that issue of falling off the journey all the time, of reprogramming that subconscious mind with structure, being able to stay on the journey for a long time, being grounded in who I am as well. 8 years ago, I was so fucking ungrounded all the time. I was so out of my body all the time, and having the breath work as part of my process through the years, and my dad passing away has been a huge part of my process to stop all of these internal programs defeating me anymore. For me to be the I am awareness being, saying, no, I'm claiming my sovereignty back now, and having fun. So for me, the commitment, courage and effort was all about taking the time off, allowing you to enjoy the journey. And when you're doing ritual and ceremony, smile. Tell yourself when you're doing it, smile. It's time to smile. It's time to have fun. Instead of being so serious like I was in the past with the ceremonies and the structure of it all, blah, blah, blah. So that's my own understanding and journey of commitment and effort. Have fun and don't get too obsessed with it.
Maddie, I'll bring the same question to you. Commitment, courage, and discipline, not being mystical, and how they've helped you on your journey.
Well, it kind of helped to be a little bit obsessive at the beginning. I can say that most people that I meet on this journey don't really have what it takes to really dig their feet in and practice and practice and practice. I see it so much, and people are probably not going to like that. But that is the truth, is that most people really don't understand what those words mean. Now, I had to have courage because what I was doing wasn't really having massive results in my life. It was something that I was going into the unknown and choosing to do something and choosing to do it and do it and do it and do it without really an expectation of what was going to happen, without really understanding what was going to happen. And the commitment was going back to it, going back to it and going back to it. And I have to say that there are times when I would sit down to do a meditation and instantly I just want to stop. Instantly I'd want to turn it off, but I'd just stick with it. And the fire ceremonies, I remember when I was first learning to pray, how insincere it sounded. And I was just thinking this, you know, it just doesn't feel like I'm doing it right. Or I would be just repeating the revocations as you had written them, word for word for word for word. But I stuck at it. I kept going. And even in the times when life wasn't so good, I kept going. And I'd have happy ceremonies, sad ceremonies, angry rituals. I made loads of mistakes, but I just keep going. Each time I fall over, I pick myself up and I move on. And this happens over and over and over again in a cyclical process. And the truth is that it never really stops. So if you don't have courage, if you don't have commitment, and you don't have discipline, you're not going to get any results. Because at the end of the day, it's not really about the results. The results are just like, you know, something that you get that happens along the way. But it's your determination, your commitment to your journey that keeps you moving, not the experiences that you will, you know, harvest along the way. Again, they're just experiences. It always comes back to courage, commitment, and discipline. And that can go for anything in your life, not just self-mastery.
Well said. Laura, I bring the same question to you. Commitment, courage, and discipline, and how has it helped you in your growth?
So, in so many ways, all of them, but dealing with them individually. Commitment is the deal I made with myself, the communication I made with Great Spirit, with my ancestors, with my future generations, that I would apply myself to the teachings, and I chose Andrew's teachings and haven't deviated from that in 10 years. It's the deal I made with myself that I will turn up for work, that I would turn up with my torch of eldership, which we've mentioned a few times during this show, but it's so vital, with that mantle of responsibility, because it is not, any of this work is not a one and done thing. So the commitment is needed to produce the results that then require more commitment to produce other results. But each time you get a result, okay, it's not always in joy, there's great learning in this, but often it is in joy, and often there are victories that go with that, with all of these, and the victories just propel you forward to the next level of commitment. So it's an ongoing thing. Courage. You've got to find your heart for your courage. There's no doubt about that. You've got to have an internal flame that you know is never going to go out, and nothing is going to quell that flame. In fact, the more that life can throw at you, the more that the system can throw at you, then the brighter that flame is going to burn. And that is the courage. It's the courage to step out of the mediocrity that you create for yourself, because it's all a choice, and the courage to escape or get away from or make a choice, a sovereign choice, to step out of something that's not serving your greater growth, and then the courage to step into doing something that maybe to your mainstream friends may appear really weird. So you've got to have the courage to face all this, to face others' projections. You've just got to override all that and have the trust. Have the trust in yourself that you can do this work, and it will bring the rewards. And it brings the rewards of the love that you feel for yourself, the self-mastery that you achieve along the journey that again propels you and is propelling your soul journey. And discipline. Discipline is willpower. There's no way around that. You've got to find the willpower to do it day in, day out, but not as a chore, but as a work of joy. So those three, Andrew taught me, or I learnt those from Andrew's teachings very early on. And it's not until latterly that I really started to examine them and their place in my life, and how all of those have the backbone of the ancestors behind them, and the gift we are giving to the 7 future generations. That is so vital in all of these teachings, and in the commitment, the courage and the discipline is not just for this I am presence here now. It goes way beyond that.
Well said. Commitment, courage, and discipline are not mystical. What makes something mystical? Is it an experience? Is it a definition? Is it a person, place, or thing? So, Dale, what makes something mystical for you?
I think everything can be mystical to anybody, because it's about what you learn in the moment from experiencing it, and you can't perceive what you're experiencing. So I'd say enrich an experience, spiritual journey experience, are mystical to me, because I don't know what I'm going to get out of it at the end. And again, losing that instant gratification, expectation process, you're being in that synchronicity flow. And I remember I had a conversation with my dragon as well about that, where he took the piss and basically said you can't really mess around with synchronicity, because it's like an orchestra going around the universe, the galaxies, the void spaces. And so yeah, for me that's probably my process and understanding of it. It's everything's a mystery to me, and like the things I learn and unfold themselves in front of me, and like say 4 weeks down the line I'll learn another lesson about something which has been so obviously in front of me. So I'd say, to answer your question from my own experience, it would be, I think everything's a mystery at times. It's just how you perceive it and what you can learn from it, and that's the beauty of it.
Thank you. Bring the same question to Maddie.
To me, the mystical is something that doesn't belong in the narrative, something that isn't taught, something that comes from unknowingness, something that maybe we can't explain. Yeah, I think mysticism is a hard word. It's a hard word to explain because some things are known, but much isn't known. And the mystical is all around us at any given moment. And it really can be a choice, but sometimes it's not a choice. Sometimes the mystical will happen. The reason it's separate from the courage and the commitment is because those are grounded within this world. Those are grounded within the choices that we make as a human being living in this reality. So the mystical is something that's outside of that, something that doesn't quite belong in our reality, in our 3D reality. And of course, it's only really quite recently that it's been so, because mysticism has been a part of our past. It's a part of human culture, but it's been taken away from us more recently, especially in this part of the world where we live. So that would be my answer to that question.
Laura, and for you, same question.
Yeah, for me, the mystical is something quite personal. It's something that I have created with Great Spirit or Great Mystery, whether it's for a learning or a joy, or just to feel that part of you that it's more than the internal flame. There's something about the mystical that helps me connect with Great Mystery, knowing that it will never be solved, knowing that there's so many wonderful things that we don't know that can't be brought into our reality at the moment. It's almost like a huge void of potential, something that is touchable yet not. You can't quite reach it, and it keeps you almost striving to know the answer but not wanting to know the answer from the mystical. It's just like it exists, and it exists to bring you joy, but also to keep you curious, but also so you are reminded you're living with Great Mystery and Great Spirit.
Well said. With that, we reached the part of the show where we are going to be talking about the Scotland Bus Tour. The Scotland Bus Tour. It's available to everyone now. Those that had an opportunity to do their express pay. You guys had a week and a little over a week and so to take care of that. Dale, Laura, Maddie, let's talk about the Scotland Bus Tour.
It's exciting. There's a few seats left, so if anybody wants to sign up, where is it going to be, Andrew? We've got it on Facebook actually at the moment.
Joel has it here on the bottom of our screen, andrewbartzisjourney.com/Scotland Bus Tour 2023 with Andrew Bartzis. It will also be a link in the show description, so that will take you direct to give you a thing. We've got a video there for you to watch too that all about it explains the entire bus tour.
And so, yeah, July the 1st, we'll meet in Edinburgh bus station, and we'll go forward to do the 10-day bus tour with Andrew Bartzis and Two Feathers Medicine as well. It will be a rare opportunity to have Andrew in the special frequency of being with each land, being able to connect to the energies there, and being able to meet him as well. So there's an opportunity there for us to go around Scotland, visit so many different areas. We're off to the Callanish Stones, Isle of Skye. We've actually got a day of doing basically at Isle of Skye as well, so there will be opportunities to do extra stuff on top of that. It's just a unique opportunity to be able to see Andrew, see us, and be able to go around Scotland in a pilgrimage and really just enjoy the energies. Anything else you want to add, Matty?
Maddie, why did we call it the What's My Purpose Tour?
I think somebody might try and come in.
It's okay.
It was... Purpose. Yes, it was an ongoing joke of ours. And when we were first discussing this, we were just throwing jokes out there. And when someone says, "What's my purpose tour?" it just clicked. And so the idea is to be ironic. So really, we don't want anybody to be asking what their purpose is. And you're certainly not going to find your purpose from coming on the tour with us, that's for sure. But it might put you on your journey. And let me say, Andrew is a very unique person to be around. And us three here as well. We have our own sets of skills and talents. And this is going to be the first time that we've physically all gotten together to create something of high frequency. And of course, we're going to be traveling the lands. It's going to be a really exciting time. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. I have a vague expectation of how cool it's going to be, but I'm sure it'll be its own unique process.
So, Laura, why did we choose Scotland?
I was just going back over that. So we chatted, didn't we, way back in maybe
September 24th.
Yeah, okay, yeah, September. And we, Matty, Dale and I wanted to do something spectacular for Andrew's first European and UK event. And Andrew actually came up with, I think you came up with Scotland actually, Andrew. I know I had a month in Scotland, which was very eventful.
I think we were pushing it on him.
Well, we did say Scotland.
We were going to do a camping thing, this, and I said, let's simplify it. Let's just do a bus tour.
Yes.
And then Scotland emerged from that.
Yeah, that's it.
Because we're all very attracted to Scotland, yeah.
Yes.
And talking about mystical Scotland is.
Right, and then all the things, oh my God, if you had Andrew at this place, Andrew at this place, the galactic history of this place, touring and driving past this place, and then, it's Galactic Tour Guide has been born.
And he may find the Loch Ness Monster. It might be out there.
He might. It's a ghost now. Okay. So, what is the purpose of the tour? To go on the tour.
Yeah.
Okay? And what's your purpose tour? To go on the tour. Quite literally. Now, we will be having merch for you. It's what's my purpose tour. So know that there's not idiom is the wrong word, an idiosyncronous idiom going on here. And why Scotland? Because that's where your purpose is. That's where you're going to find your purpose.
There's so many wonderful places that we're visiting. It really is quite magical.
It's also the leap off of a new business model, too. Before the crazy COVID lockdowns, oh no, did I just get us banned? Before the lockdowns, I had been set up I did an Egypt tour. We were going to go to South America, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But then, you know what came around? That we shall not mention that might get us banned on many channels. And now that the world is more open, and that what's terminology cannot be mentioned on one channel, we could talk about it now and go on and do these types of things.
And I think the beauty of it is that Andrew is on the same coach as us.
Yes.
So
and tell you the truth, I'm sick and tired of doing Awake and Aware conferences. I'm sick and tired of doing UFO conferences. If I never, ever, ever do another UFO conference, sorry guys, I will not ever miss it. Okay?
No, you can't do light language singing at a UFO conference.
It's time
no,
for
I
boots on the
could.
ground.
I could. It's just
could.
they want baby raping lizard wizards.
Yes, depressing.
Yeah. Yeah, but we might have some light language singing on the bass.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, we had our first musical track come out. We were the Saint Germain Band.
And
Not
the Unascended Masters, guys.
And the Unascended Masters, yes. We are recording a light language music song. Music song. We are recording light language music. Okay? But that being said, the Scotland tour. You can go to, like I said, Andrew Bartzis' journey. The link is in the description. Pinky. And you can watch the video on it. It's like a 20-minute video that fully explains it all. There are limited number of single occupancy seats. I believe only 3 left. So if you are a person who has to have a room all by yourself, you got to sign up early for that. Otherwise, you will be in a double occupancy situation. We are going to be going to places literally in the middle of nowhere. So there are times that there are such limited amount of hotels that are there that you won't be able to have single occupancy rooms. Laura, would you like to talk more about the single occupancy?
So, well, I've not really discussed this with any of you, but what I was going to suggest was that if you're not coming with a friend, then it's hopefully because most of you will be people who follow Andrew, you will be aware of the others who are coming on the tour. So hopefully you can link up with somebody you feel a connection with to share a room. I mean, obviously the room sharing keeps the cost down. And as Andrew said, there's only a couple of single occupancies available. The hotels don't really like to do it, and they hike the price up considerably for us for the single occupancy. So that's why there's so few ones. But since we're all galactic followers of Andrew, I'm sure we won't mind sharing. And for the journey, we'll all be on the same journey together, and it will all be fun.
Dale or Maddie, anything you'd like to add?
I'd recommend as well people to go back on the Galactic Historian Andrew's YouTube page and look back at when he talks about some of the Scottish shows about the Picts and stuff like that, and you'll see some of the frequency which Andrew talks about Scotland and some of the ancient beings which were there. I'd highly recommend to look at that Picts show. It's incredible. It still sits with me and I still remember it. I've watched it so many times. So I'm really excited, guys. And you get an opportunity to meet and poke Andrew as well. Give him a wedgie if you want.
Wedgies for everyone.
There's also a show, Dale, we did with Andrew, where we talked a bit about Scotland.
Oh yes.
That was the Queen's after the Queen's passing and so on. That's worth listening to.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we have come to the end of the New Teachings show. Dale, would you like to give away for people to get a hold of you?
So if anybody would like to have a psychic surgery session or train in psychic surgery, I've got an online training workshop coming up next month. My website is daletobin.com, and I'm on twofeathersmedicine.com as well. My YouTube channel, Symmetry of Health and Two Feathers Medicine. I've got a show, The Talking Sick Show, which is coming back next week. I'll have Andrew, Matty, Laura, and we'll be interviewing loads of different people as well. So, thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Matty. Thank you, Laura. And thank you, everyone.
Maddie, for you, give away for people to get a hold of you.
Yeah, so I'm a psychic healer and a teacher. So if you want to book any sort of coaching with me or healing sessions or any form of session at all, then you go to twofeathersmedicine.com and just click on my smiley face.
And he will respond. Laura, leave a way for people to get a hold of you.
I have. Hold on. I'm just going to answer this question from Overkill. Will you be visiting the Isle of Iona? Yes, we will be. Okay, Laura Massey, twofeathersmedicine.com. I run Riding the Winds of Change shamanic course. I teach shamanic self-mastery. I also do cranial sacral therapy in the south of England. If you're anywhere near me in this country, come along and have one of those. Thank you, guys. Been a great show. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, audience. And thank you for all your questions. And I hope some of you can come on this wonderful bus tour with us.
Right, and you all know who I am. I am your galactic historian, Andrew Bartzis. You go to my website, andrewbartzis.com. Sign up there for the email list to discover all our exciting new shows that'll be coming in the next couple weeks. We are expanding our channel. We are going to be giving you more and more bang for your listening pleasures. All right, guys, we shall be back Friday for a comedy show. Wait. Is it a comedy stream or a comedy show? I don't remember. I will be back Friday, 8 p.m. Yeah, Friday comedy show, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come and join us. And then afterwards, we will be having a gaming night also. And you're like, why do these spiritual people do gaming? Because, like we've said earlier, you must have time to clock off and do non-spiritual things. We are forming an entertainment channel for spiritually minded people who want to have something to do that isn't exactly spiritual, and we're doing that Friday nights. So come and have a drink with us, come and sit and join with us, listen to us as we banter back and forth as we kill digital products. All right, everybody, we'll catch us tomorrow. Take us away, Joel.